Hello everyone, and welcome to the Portland Film Production Podcast. Today we will not be discussing one particular film like we have done before, but rather we'll be talking about a company in their entirety of their movie collection. And that company I'm referring to is Pixar, everyone's favorite childhood film company. So, within this we'll be talking about primarily what makes Pixar Pixar in terms of just how they're so memorable and just so praised and just everyone loves them. It's hard to find anyone who does like a Pixar movie. But anyway, but that's for a little later. So, I am your host, Richard Brown, and joining us today for the first time ever in one of these videos, who is usually behind the camera, for the first time in front of the camera, our Pixar enthusiast, Rachel Ram.
Hi.
And then, as always, joining us today is
Patrick Bolt, the critic.
Yes, everyone's favorite person in terms of aspects for movies, a critic. So then, everyone, let's begin. So, one thing that we've always kind of noticed in Pixar is that there's always a general formula that they follow. Like, pretty much all their films follow a set formula, and in some way it varies a little. Like, they'll put some things after or before others, but they always follow a general formula. And so I feel like that's such an important key thing, because if you're gonna make a lot of movies, and you're gonna follow that formula, like it's gotta be rock solid. It's gotta be able to withstand almost anything. And with all the genres that they've done, from The Incredibles to Finding Nemo to Toy Story, some of those are similar, but they're all different genres sort of. And so it's it's amazing that they can do this. And so just get your thoughts on the Pixar formula. So let's begin with you, Patrick.
Alright, so the Pixar formula is, the reason it works so well is because it seems like it would be restrictive, but really it has a lot of room for potential. Like, for example, once upon a time there was a monster named James P. Sullivan, and every day he'd go to a factory called Monsters Incorporated, in which he would collect the screams of children to fuel the monster world. But then one day, a human would get out of this world and into the monster world, and therefore is the entire foundation of the monster world is now completely
turned upside down.
And so James P. Sullivan with his partner Mike, they have to put the human back into the monster world.
Or so help me.
Or human world, you mean?
Into the human world, or so help me. And as this is happening, he ends up realizing that the human who is supposed to be dangerous really isn't dangerous. And then until he realizes this, he's trying to find a way to get rid of the girl, but then the girl, Boo. But then at the end of the story, he ends up realizing that he has a heart deep inside his scary exterior, and thus it's hard for him to let go, but then he finally manages to do so. So I think that's just one of the examples, but it shows how in something like a simple series like Once Upon a Time, every day this happened, then one day this, because of this, and resulting in this, and then it shows that Pixar has a creative formula, but that formula itself can be interpreted in so many different directions, which allows for them to go into so many different fields and so many different genres, as you were saying. So
yeah, exactly.
That's really what allows them to become so creative all the time, but also at the same time being effective with that creativeness.
True, yeah. True. Rachel, what about you?
That's definitely, yes, I agree with everything he said. But even there are some movies that they have that turn the formula on its head. Like Toy Story 3, Brave is another one. Because it doesn't really... Like how Toy Story 3 is a sequel, it's trying to continue on with all the other canon moments that happened. And they do a lot of new elements in that one. They've got the horror element in Sunnyside.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's definitely a different take on the previous two Toy Story movies.
Yeah.
The horror was the one of the toys that was missing. This one, they're in prison.
It takes the idea of because the Toy Story franchise, it's a very simple concept. what would the world look like from a toy's perspective? And then it makes daycare, like from the beginning, Woody's like, daycare is a sad, lonely place for washed up toys who have no owners. And then like, nobody believes him, and then it's even way worse than that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's
hilarious.
It is. Really.
Yeah, but that same concept like shows up several times. Or something that looks normal is like as a terrifying thing, like Finding Dory, for instance, the fish tank.
Yeah.
That's like just it's hilarious. I love how Pixar is able to make like something that looks normal into something terrifying or absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works well. I mean, people can argue whether like sequels are like good or not, you know. But and we're not gonna necessarily cover that. But like,
Right.
like those things, it's like they can take their topic, like they already have everything set. So when they want to do a sequel for it, they kind of know like, well, what can we do with it that would be entertaining or whatnot. So it's like for Finding Dory. That's it's just this, you know, they already had the concept set, they had the groundwork, and then they made Finding Dory.
Yeah.
They give a backstory, so you kind of know kind of what happened to their parents, and then they give you the story of post Finding Nemo. And so yeah, so that's
right. And then for Toy Story, it's even stronger because we've had 2 films backing it up. So Toy Story 3 would have a lot of room to expand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of foundational groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Back to that, like with Brave as well. I think when they try to introduce more creepier elements into like their movies and stuff, like the daycare and Toy Story and the giant bear that bites up her father's leg.
Oh my god.
Let's be real, that bear was terrifying. It just introduces a way for them to subvert their own formula.
Yeah.
Because with with Brave, I guess it does kind of go more with the formula than Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
But there's still that difference of like just.
But like, that's kind of the thing with with Pixar, because Pixar is like a family kind of movie. You know?
Yeah.
For little kids, and then you have like a bear biting a guy's leg off, or you know, you have like these like it's still toys, and you don't see a toy die, but like in Toy Story 3, it's like it's a prison.
Right.
Here's a prison for toys.
Yeah, but something that's
but definitely, if you think about toddlers sees that, it's like, am I the orange of these toys in my daycare, mommy? And that'd be one intellectual toddler.
And then the incinerator scene.
Oh, good lord.
Actually, no, take that back. Yeah, it was violence.
I mean, they're like going to that. Like these are supposed to be family films, but I can't help but like every time I watch them, like as I get older and get a new perspective, I find all these amazing dark undertones. Like in Books Life, for instance, I thought it was just a story about a bunch of ants. Now I realize it's like there's slavery involved. Then The Incredibles, there's like superhero genocide. It's like. You never would see these things at first, but once you do, it makes it
But also, I think that's what makes it great as being a family movie, is because literally
it touches
anyone
on things that nobody wants to talk to kids about.
Exactly, and it's like so the kids when they grow up, they're like,
yeah.
wow, I didn't notice that, but like they're kind of more ready. I guess they're ready for it
Yeah.
because they're already like subconsciously or like ready for that kind of stuff, and it works because it's family movie, so it's like anyone at almost every age can enjoy it, and especially for us, like we grew up with like. In my opinion, the peak of Pixar movies, it's like we have all these movies here with us, and so then we could go back and we can say, oh, well, that's actually kind of funny. Like, the windows, those kind of things. But yeah, you know, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both of you. Yeah, and like with Brave, like you were saying, it's like there's always these ways where they kind of middle with the formula, to where it looks like it's turning on its head, but it's like no, still keep it to it. You know.
Just have to think about it for a moment.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, like, when it comes to, like, analyzing the formula, one could be, like, how... It's sort of interesting, because, like, I've never heard anybody say that, like, oh, it's always the same story over and over again. Because, like, even with, like, the Toy Story sequels, I never hear anybody say, oh, it's just a remake, nothing new. Because, like, it feels like it's every time it's a Pixar movie, it's always, like, a fresh interpretation. And it's like... I mean, obviously it helps when you're constantly shifting what your protagonist physically is, whether it's a clownfish or a race car or a robot who's supposed to clean up the earth.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously that's like, the more you get creative, the more crazy you get. You can obviously like take the new directions. But then you can have a film like Up, for instance, in which it's just a story about a man who's lost his wife and now he's just like sort of just living in his house by himself, and then he goes on a crazy adventure. It's like, it shows how if you just put a little effort, you can make amazing stories.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, we're talking about so we finished roughly talking about the formula, and you can reference back to it. But one thing that's also important is that within the formula, it always follows a protagonist. That's just how basic writing and stories work. There's a protagonist usually. And in this case, we chose 4, big name Pixar characters. And so one thing is that I want to ask you guys is, how would you see those characters actually like working within that formula to make it to where, kind of like how you said earlier, where it's like it's always like a new movie, but at the same time they're like following the formula, even though it looks like they're not following it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? So let's begin with the first one with Woody from
Alright.
Toy Story.
Right. I mean, we have to start with Woody, and
Yeah.
like I feel like
He's the first.
I mean,
Exactly.
one really interesting thing about Woody is because he has several films. He's part of a trilogy, for instance, and that allows him to really have more character growth than others. So that sort of like, I'm not gonna say it's cheating, but it definitely helps. But like, it really does like. I feel like it's in the first film. There's a clear change in which he realizes that there's more to life than just being a kid's favorite toy. He understands the beauty of friendship, and then once he finally realizes that, like, Buzz Lightyear becomes his best friend.
Yeah, and what's even great about that too is that within the formula we were talking about, and like that whole movie, it's like there's a whole character arc between all 3 in a sense, but they all follow the same formula, like we said. But like you can see he's first like kind of like he's the leader, and then he's like he's get overthrown almost pretty much, and then he's like, that ain't gonna happen, that's not gonna fly.
Right.
And then he has to go fight that, and he realizes that like what he's fighting for is kind of it's an empty cause.
Matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like so yeah, it's exactly. It's like in pretty much there's some Pixar movies that don't follow that to the word, but like they follow that general idea. It's like it's set like here's how things work. Something makes it turn upside down. They have to change it and become it, and then it ends usually happily.
Yeah. And then like for instance, when Toy Story 2 comes along, we get to see like how like he really gets even more awareness of what he is, and thus like he actually questions like, does he really want to be a toy at all? Because if it's just gonna be a short existence, then why have it? But then he realizes that you're right, Prospector, I can't stop Andy from growing up, but I wouldn't miss it for the world. And it's like it's such a great moment.
Exactly. And then
it
you
hits
got
home. Yeah. But then again, there's so many other great characters throughout the Pixar franchise, for instance.
True. Yeah. And like another one we were gonna talk about is Marlin from Finding Nemo. I mean, honestly, like he's a dad character. Like most people probably say Nemo is the main character. Like
it's sort of both. I could say Marlin's the main character. I could also say Nemo's the main character.
Yeah, like Rachel, like you're the one who's pretty much kind of knows Pixar more than we do. I'm like, come on, honestly, you are. So like for Marlin, like what do you think? Like in that idea of Marlin being the actual real protagonist in this whole thing, rather than it being Nemo, as one could argue.
Because like Woody in the Toy Story, Marlin does go from like this really hard-ass character to this first day of school, come on!
Yeah.
Instead of, stay with me.
Yeah.
From fearing the ocean to being really open about it all and actually being funny. Yeah, he has his own
he has a story arc.
Yeah, and I would definitely argue that he changes more than Nemo.
Yeah, because like Nemo, I mean like, it's kind of funny because in Finding Nemo they reverse positions. In a way, it's like the first day of school, Nemo's all excited, wakes up Marlin. In this case, Marlin makes up Nemo.
Yeah.
But it's like Nemo's kind of stays consistent. Yeah, it's Marlin who actually has the character arc, and we follow him most of the movie.
Right.
Most of the movie anyway. So.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
So our third character, Carl Fredricksen, who, if you may not recognize the name, is the old man from Up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to refer to. So, I mean, he has a pretty obvious arc.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really clear,
Right.
I mean, one could say cliche reasons for his changing and whatnot.
Right. But like it manages to like, because it has like obviously like people know Up for like the first opening first 20 minutes or so, but it really hits home. And then like you wouldn't think that like the rest of the film can hold up to it, and it really does though. Like once you take another look at it, because then he ultimately like once Carl comes to the realization that like he can have his own adventure, and that he that final when he reopens the picture book, man, that was probably the saddest moment for me.
And also that just works perfectly because he has his normal character arc, and he has the same thing where he like either overcomes the problem or he is subverted by it. It's like he could never turn that page. He could never turn that page, and he does. And then he sees at the end, it's like, have your own adventure. He's like, he's been kind of trapped by his own fear of moving on.
Yeah.
Which has been personified through the house. And then at the end, when he's like, sorry about your house, Mr. Fredrickson.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a house.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's really compelling. It's just great.
It is, yeah. And now our fourth character, who is one that, honestly, like, it's a very clear arc, but at the same time, though, it's interesting that this particular type of character we have an arc is Joy from Inside Out. Which is honestly probably one of the more popular Pixar films, at least of this generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, what are your thoughts on Joy's, idea of her character?
If I may put some input in,
Of course.
comparing all four of them, they all sort of have the same growth pattern. Like, they start out like, this is how things need to be, and then going to broader understandings of everything. Like, Joy accepting the other emotions and letting them make their own core memories and stuff like that.
Yeah, and one thing that's also great about that is that not only with Joy, but like with what was the girl's name?
Riley.
Yeah.
Thank you. Riley, it's like you have Joy, like the same thing, like she, like this is how it is, and then all like the worlds, I think that's what they call them, right? I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen Inside Out, but they all like disappear and they all like fall to the ground kind of violently. If you think about it, but then like you don't see it, but new ones pop up, and it's like it's obviously like a kid growing up. That's the whole thing.
Teenage vampire romance. I like
Exactly, or boy band, something like that.
That was hilarious.
I thought that one was.
I think I laughed the most at that moment.
It's
Yeah.
like,
I will die for Riley. I will die for Riley.
Yeah.
It's like, all right then, you're gonna die for Riley.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. It's like you see visually like Joy. She accepts these. It's like she's like the opposite, like the one of them when that ending scene. It's like she's the one who's like, oh, ooh, like new world. Because then she knows it's like the things change, and so she knows that now, and she'll
she
accept all
accepts
change.
that after she undergoes her adventure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, right now though, we're running out of a little time. Obviously, this isn't necessarily our space. We have, as you can tell, but we only have for a limited time, so we will leave you here right now. So, if you guys have any other comments or ideas of Pixar's formula, or really any characters, or just anything about Pixar, I mean, come on, who doesn't like Pixar? Please leave a comment down below. I mean, it would be great to hear everyone's opinions and whatnot. So, we will say goodbye to you for this week. I am your host, Richard Brown, joined once again, for the first time in front of the camera.
Rachel Rand.
And as always, everyone's favorite type of movie person.
Patrick Bolt, the critic.
Exactly. So yes, so go ahead. So we'd ask you to please like and subscribe to this channel. It would definitely help us out, and we would love to hear any suggestions you guys have. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in to the Portland Film Production Podcast, and we hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye.